Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Dinner with the Dealer podcast. I'm your host, the Art Dealer, and to my right is a good friend, sister, businesswoman, wife, advocate for art. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present Miss Denise Tucker. How are you doing this evening?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Before we get into anything, what is Denise like on a Tuesday?
On a Tuesday?
Yeah, just a Tuesday. Like, what does Tuesday look like for you? You're not your week.
Tuesday is really my Monday, because when I come to work on Monday, I'm usually trying to gather myself and figure out what I got to do for the week. So that's really like my Monday where I really get my grind on. It is also a day that I go to my daughter's dance studio.
Okay.
And kind of help her with a little admin. But Tuesday's probably the busiest day of the week for me.
Yeah, Monday's more like my Saturday, so yeah, I can definitely see that. What's something that people be surprised to know about you?
I like hood music. And my playlist right now in my car is Meg Thee Stallion.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying from like NWA or something.
Oh no. I'm heavy on Meg right now. Like, so bad that when we travel, some of the teens are like, seriously, Miss Denise, like, can we please listen? Because they can listen to it without me.
Yeah.
You know, they'll do that, but it's uncomfortable because I'm a grandma, you know, and they're like, why are you listening to this? I said, I don't know. It's just something about it. It's so ratchet. I like it. That's that part of me that nobody knows. But I actually do at home really like hood music.
Wow. Who else other than Meg?
Ooh, I like Nikki.
Oh my God, this is crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I would think you listen more gangster than ratchet. That's what I would.
Nah, I like Glow.
Okay.
I do like gangster, and I do like old school. I like Dead Prez.
Okay.
I love Public Enemy. I mean, I got a pretty diverse music background, and I can also listen to jazz and opera and tantrum music. I love the ratchet stuff, and I think that's just that part of me that I don't exercise on a regular. So it's in the music.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how busy is your calendar right now?
10.
Probably more like 11.
More like 11.
Okay. So it's been about a year, and you're in a position of the executive director of the Greater Augusta Arts Council. Tell me, how did that come about?
So, as you know, I am a co-owner of Humanitary House.
Yes.
And once they started the construction on 8th Street, our customer base was probably like at 30% of what we needed to operate. And I said, I'm going back to work. You know, and I just kept saying, I'm going back to work. And Brenda called me one day, who was the former executive director, and she said, hey, I know you're really, really good with statistics, and we have a project manager, temporary project position open. It's about 3 months. Come talk to me about it. Came in, interviewed, talked to her. She hired me for that project. My intention was to do that project, get back to Humanitary House, and be about my way. Well, once I got in, they were like, we really need a development manager. Are you interested? I applied for that job. I got hired as a development manager, and that was working on the memberships and things like that. And then the public art manager and the admin quit around the same time. And I took both of those positions plus development. So I was actually working 3 positions at the Arts Council. I literally have worked every position with the exception of marketing. So Brenda announced that she was going to retire and that they were going to open up the position. I did not really have intention on applying because I already knew that I had a couple of friends that were going to apply, and I have this thing with loyalty, and I didn't want to compete against my friends. And I knew that it would be a competitive process because the former executive director is not allowed to be involved in the search. So they hire an independent search committee to interview, search the applications. And I said, okay, I'll just put my application in. I really didn't feel like they were going to hire me. But I went through this round of interviews, and actually it was, so the year of Helene, it was 3 days before Arts in the Heart. And they called me. They said, we've been calling you for 3 or 4 days. You don't answer your phone and you don't call back. I said, well, you should have texted me because I'm not listening to these voice messages. They left me voice messages. Well, we're calling to offer you the job. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, let me think about it. Let me talk to my husband because, you know, when you work in a public-facing position, there is, even though you don't want it to be any censorship, there is a bit of censorship. Yeah. Because you are public-facing, and while you can be yourself, you cannot be 100% transparent. Everything is judged. So I had to make sure it was cool with my family. And my father I had relocated my dad here. It was just a lot happening. And my family was cool with it. So I accepted the position, and I asked them to not make the announcement that I got the job until after the festival.
Okay.
They put the press release out a day before the festival. So that Brenda's last festival, people were going around saying, oh, congratulations. It was all over the internet. I felt like I couldn't breathe, but it just came about by me being in the right place at the right time. Okay. And having the experience, because I didn't have experience as an executive director, but I have a lot of executive experience. So.
Okay. Cool. With, I think people don't really understand what the Greater Augusta Arts Council is. Can you please inform them so we can kind of seal the deal on what it is so people will know?
So the Greater Augusta Arts Council is not a part of the city of Augusta.
Not a part of Augusta.
Let's say that. We are a non-government organization, an NGO, or a nonprofit. We are an arts advocacy agency. So what we do is we do put on events. Most people know Arts in the Heart. That's really what most people only know is Arts in the Heart. But we have several signature events that we do during the year. We do the Augusta Annual Arts Awards. We do Wet Paint, which is an art auction. Okay. We also advocate for artists. We have many like art calls for gallery showings. What else do we do? We do mentorship. We do lunch and learns. We have when I got hired after Helene, I went to my board and I asked for some money to re-grant to independent artists, and they allowed me that. And we do some re-granting. I wrote a grant to expand our resource hub. Okay. So if you are a member of the Greater Augusta Arts Council, and you don't have to be an artist, just a member, we have a ton of stuff that you can borrow or use. Wide format printers that print canvas, posters, large scanners, podcast equipment, DJ equipment. I mean, if your equipment breaks down and you need something in a crunch, or you're going somewhere to do something and you don't want to, we have DJ equipment, we have sewing machines, we have art supplies. Wow. Tons of stuff that as a member you can borrow, event supplies, this room. We do quite a bit that people just don't know about.
Okay. So how can they get more information, or how can we connect the organization with the community a little bit better?
I would probably say that the best way would probably be our social media, because we're trying to increase our transparency on social media just to kind of give people facts about what we do, share our activities. You can always tell people to go to your website, but nobody really wants to skim through all that information just trying to find what they want to know about your organization. So I always tell people we are a very open and transparent crew. It's 5 of us. People think we have a ton of people working here. It's 5 of us, but we are very open. Call us. You can call us. You can, shoot us an email. We're happy to share what we do. Or follow us on social media. We have all of them. TikTok. We don't have LinkedIn. I have LinkedIn, but we got TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Okay. It's very, very active. So.
Okay. As you previously stated, you are the co-owner of Humanity House, which you co-own with your husband, Brother B.
Yep.
How did that come about?
Well, can I be real transparent?
Hey, we want all the transparency.
Okay. So when Baruti and I got married, we we had 2 youth organizations. Under Humanitrees was the name. His was Strong Roots, and my group was called Growing. I had the girls, he had the guys. And part of what we did with them was talk about our temple, how to eat, how to drink, how to, we did creative things with them. And then I did a lot of juicing for cancer patients.
Okay.
And so Baruti wanted to open a gallery. We're in Augusta. He's like, I want a gallery, But he was like, just having a gallery, he didn't really think about how successful a gallery would be in Augusta, because when he first got here, he walked Broad Street, gallery to gallery, and nobody would hang his work. So he wanted his own gallery, and he's like, well, how do we connect the dots? At this time, I was working for the Walker Group, Georgia Personnel Services, as an HR manager and a paralegal.
Okay.
And I love my job. I love that money. But he kept going, let's just do this. So we actually, believe it or not, we wrote Humanitarian House, Juice Joint and Gallery on a vision board in our kitchen. And every day we would just write a little idea on that board, and we talk about it, we pray about it. And one Arts in the Heart, Baruti didn't apply to be in Arts in the Heart, and they asked us to stage where Johnny's Barbershop used to be, on that corner of Broad and Ellis. Broad and 8th.
Broad and 8th,
That big corner where Groucho's is.
Right.
And we staged it, and we had juice, we had jewelry, we did it with Karen.
Okay.
And we're like, oh, this is nice. So we had our eyes on that particular space.
Okay.
And Johnny beat us to it. And then the other space at the other end of the corner opened up. And we literally went over there, put our hands on the window, prayed about it. And I still said, I'm not going to leave my job. We can open this, but I'm not going to leave my job. So we worked on it. We got our licensing and everything, equipment. We opened, but when we opened, and I don't know if you remember this, but we really were just kind of like a hangout spot. We would open up at noon on Saturday to like midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, by donation only. So people would come get juice, food, and they just had to make a donation. And the customer base just kept growing. It was like people were like pouring in there, and they were asking for more. And one day I was getting up, getting dressed to go to work. And Baruti was like, so you just going to keep going to that job? And I was like, can you see me? I like to eat. Like, are you serious? He was like, are you going to keep going to that? I don't even really want to say what he called me. I put my 2-week notice in, but I was still going to work. I went to work about a month after I put my 2-week notice in. And then one day I was getting up, and he called me an office mammy. He said, so you're just going to be an office mammy?
Man.
And I got back in the bed and covered up.
Why is he so reckless with it?
That's just him. His mouth. He doesn't think.
I don't know if I can have him on this platform or not.
Yes. And I literally covered up and got back in the bed. And I never went back. And from there, we just kept working on it until we were actually able to open full time. We outgrew, I won't say we outgrew the first space. The first space had a lot of problems, and we were going to close Humanitary. And Tony Williamson, that owns Aficionados, had the space that we're currently in, and he said, we can't lose you in the community, don't close. I have a space. I was going to build this space out as a hookah lounge, but I'm not going to do that if you want the space. We went in the space, fell in love with it. The rest is history.
Yeah. Brother B did give me a tour when y'all first got this space, and it's wild. I think I still got video somewhere when he started working on the mural, that first one right there, before the rest of the wall, or whether anything else was laid out. But that's great, because a lot of times we lose businesses that definitely need the support, of the community and stuff like that, and still have y'all here. That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it has its, no, seriously, I mean, it's a blessing and sometimes a curse. And the reason I say that is because I think that in the age of like everything being right at your fingertips, you can get delivery, you can get Grubhub, you can order groceries, you don't have to go to like everything is at your fingertips. We're losing the consumer that just walks in on a daily basis. And with downtown being in the condition that it's in, a lot of people are avoiding downtown. So the curse for me is like, people don't go through the extra trouble. Like if somebody's going to Humana Treehouse, they're not just walking by and they decide to come in. They're deliberately coming to Humana Treehouse.
Yeah.
So I think that, customers, the public is really fickle when it comes to stuff like that. And they're not going to if they can't park right in front of your door, then they're probably not coming. So the blessing is that we are still there and we are able to impact the community. We're still able to reach out and have events there and do things like that and still serve and nurture through, healthy food and drink. But the curse is that people really aren't coming down like they used to. So we're probably like where you would go to Humana Treehouse on a Saturday and it's packed out. You might go there and sit there all day and you might see 20 customers in one day. And that's happening all around downtown. It's not just us, but and people do say all the time, you should come to Columbia County or you should go. It was like, we're not doing that either. So.
Maybe South Augusta?
No, I ain't trying to do that either.
Man, we need y'all. We need.
I mean, it would be nice, but it's just so unpredictable. I am a very transparent person, so I'm just gonna say it. I might get, they might rib me real bad for saying this, but I feel like as a community, as a community of Black and brown people, we are loyal until it looks like you're doing too well. And when it looks like you've come up, people get really like, it's kind of like that poor righteous teacher analogy syndrome. It's like, you're supposed to be struggling a little bit if you look like us. Yeah. If you look like you're not struggling, we're going to fall back a little bit. And that's the thing. It's like, even when we've thought about moving, it's like, does it really make sense to do that? So, and I like downtown. So,
well, I live in South Augusta. I was raised in South Augusta, and we need more in South Augusta.
We do.
We definitely need more. You got a lot of people out there. I think they would love to have a treehouse in South Augusta.
Yeah, and you have a vegan establishment in South Augusta too, though. And so that's true. And that's another thing with, I always think collaboration and not competition.
Good point.
And I don't ever want to take food out of somebody else's mouth either. And that's another thing, like, where do you put it in South Augusta without impacting somebody else's revenue, when I know that the person who owns that place used to be a customer of mine, and I know what that struggle looks like. And vegan is a very, 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 very interesting market. So depending on how you're marketing depends on what your customer base looks like.
Okay. What's the craziest thing you've seen in Humana Treehouse?
So one night we was at Humana Treehouse and these people were outside and they were arguing. It was a man and a woman. And she's like hollering and everything. And she runs inside and she says, "That's my pimp."
Oh my God.
She said, "Y'all can't let him in."
Yeah.
Lock the door. He's outside. He's screaming. He's banging on the door, telling us to let him, we got to let her out. And she's like, "No, you can't let me out. He's going to do something to me." And we hid that lady. We kept her in there until the police came so she could get out safely. Like, so many things have happened at the treehouse. Like, so many things. Aria, on a happier note, my granddaughter, those who have been around the treehouse for a long time know that I wore a baby on me for probably a year, because my daughter had her first child and she had to go back to work. So the baby stayed with us at the treehouse. She was a treehouse baby. She's 10 years old now. And when she started walking, she took her first steps in the treehouse and she would walk around to people's tables and take their food off their plate. Didn't know them, just grab a burger. Keep moving, and I mean, it was one of those things where people would say, "It's a baby in there, she's going to take your food." But a lot, it's so many treehouse stories, I could probably write a book.
Wow. Yeah. Should tell more of those. You also work pretty heavily with the dance community.
I do.
Tell me about that. Because I when I first met you, you were working with an organization, And then I know your daughter has her own.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, how did that come about for you?
So I grew up a dancer.
Okay.
I danced 20-something years of my life until the man that I was married to before Baruti did not like the idea of me dancing. He hated it. And now when I say dance, before y'all get anything in y'all heads, ballet, tap, jazz, modern, African, not the other kind of dancing. Yeah, so I put my daughter in dance at Cut No Dance.
Okay.
And I designed a recital book for her, and I taught tap.
Okay.
And that's kind of how, as long as she was in dance, because I couldn't really afford the tuition because my daughter was heavily involved, I worked for Phoenicia in exchange. So I did all of her office admin at 3 locations, taught when I needed to teach, did quite a bit. And so when my daughter graduated high school, she went to Hollins University on a dance scholarship to get a dance degree. When she left, I left. You know, I was like, okay, she's graduated now. It's my turn to live my life. I had just been divorced. I wanted to live my life. I got married at 18. So I had never really lived outside of raising children.
Okay.
And then I got back into like theater and dance myself, and she was in college. And she came back from college. She worked for Cutno a little bit, and I was kind of out of the dance. I was experiencing dance, like dancing, but not really involved in administration. Okay. Well, when she opened her studio, her first studio was at Payne College, is where her classes were, and then it moved to the other side of Humanitary House. And so then, of course, that put me right back in.
Yeah.
So now, as my daughter has her studio on Walton Way, and my granddaughter's dancing, and then she has 112 kids at her studio dancing, and I'm not there as much since I'm in this role, but I am there. You know, I'm there quite a bit.
Okay.
But I love dance. Dance is my first love. That's my passion. I sing, and I can sing, and I love to sing, but I love to dance.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Give me one word to describe the Augusta art scene right now.
It's really vibrant. Like, it really is. It's just in pockets. I think that, like I said, Augusta needs to get away from competition and do more collaborating because everybody thinks it's a competition. There's enough, you know, even if you want to talk about visual arts, there's enough walls to go around.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to compete with each other. And just because one artist gets a little bit of shine doesn't mean you're not going to. And I see that across every sector, not just in visual arts. I see it in music. You know, I see, you know, one band gets a gig and the other band's like, oh, y'all don't ever want to book me. You know, I think that we have a very vibrant and talented arts community that really just needs to focus, you know. Yeah. And then also I feel like, you know, if I can say this, we celebrate mediocrity in our community a little bit too much. And I think that for artists that are really doing the thing, they don't really get to shine like they should because we're so busy putting stuff that really need people that need to practice a little bit more, you know, or they're doing something very basic. That's what we see a lot of, you know. And I know that's probably not the most popular thing to say, but I feel like we really need to step our game up, if I can say that.
You definitely can say that because I feel the same exact way. But, you know, I try to keep my comments to myself because sometimes people feel a certain kind of way when you say it. But I agree. I totally agree. I'm born and raised in Augusta. I've seen a lot of different phases of Augusta, and that is something that's a real serious problem in this phase of Augusta. We allow way too many things to happen here, and we celebrate way too many things that should not get anybody's attention, to be honest. And I think it makes people feel like they can do anything and everything when they shouldn't be. The passion isn't there, the love isn't there. It's all kind of ulterior motives behind what they're doing, but nobody will stand up and say, hey man, that ain't it.
Right. And it's also, you know, And again, I blame social media kind of as well, because people see something and they're not original. It's almost like you see somebody doing something and it's like, oh, you know what? I could be a vocalist too.
Yep.
You know, and for me, you know, I'm as somebody that loves music, you know, even though I listen to ratchet music, I love music. I can write music, I can read music, I can sing music. When something sounds like hot garbage to me,
Definitely.
I'm listening at it and I'm going, this is it? This what I just paid $20 for? You know, so I'm always very intentional. And I know that my husband sometimes will say, you know, that I'm picky. You know, my daughter will say that I'm picky. But my thing is, if my name is going to be attached to it, I can't half step on it. And I feel like I have an absolute duty to bring the best that I can bring. That doesn't mean it's always going to hit the mark, and it doesn't mean that everybody's going to like it, but I'm not about to let anything fly.
Yeah. You've never been to Ratchet Bingo, have you?
Nah, because, see,
I just thought
I'm
about
gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Listen, we went viral. Matter of fact, let me back up. Let me get personal. I've been a part of 2 different things that have gone viral inside of those walls.
Yes.
And you weren't there.
Okay. In my defense, okay, so y'all, like I said, I'm listening to ratchet music behind closed doors, but so when you did Trap and Paint, I'll never forget it. That thing went viral, and that video was, I don't know how many views it was, but it was all over the country, and people were like, where is this place at? And all I could see was people twerking on my chairs. You know, it was just like booty shaking everywhere.
They weren't twerking on your chairs. That was for Ratchet Bingo. That wasn't.
Well, I don't know what they were doing in Trap.
They were turned.
They were turned up, and I kept going, oh my goodness. Everybody's going to think this is all we do at the Treehouse. And you would not have believed how many inboxes I got. I got people saying, well, I just wish you would do things that were more universal. Like, it was a lot. And so when you started doing Ratchet Bingo, I think you did something like Moo-Moos and what was?
No, we didn't do that till recently.
Okay. So you did Ratchet Bingo. I didn't know what that was. I kept saying, what are they going to be doing in there? Like, what happens when you get bingo? Like, what do you do when you get bingo? And then what y'all have to know about my husband is he's not going to let me be turned. So if I can't go and I can't twerk and be turned, then I don't want to be there. So at home, he's cool with it. But we remember when First Friday used to really be hitting?
Yeah.
Okay, First Friday used to be hitting. And I'll never forget, we were walking down Broad Street during First Friday, and it was a band, and they were jamming. And all I did was, like, move just a little bit. He said, so now you're just going to be shaking your butt in the street? So why would I come to Ratchet Bingo if I can't turn up?
So hold on. Now I'm gonna tell you what he wrong at. I got footage of him enjoying Ratchet Bingo.
I'm sure.
Because the first time we did it, we introduced the all R&B version. So it was definitely in the same age range, but it was, and don't get me wrong, though, I had to tell Greg to kind of slow down because we opened the doors at 5, I think maybe 5:05, 5:10. They were literally standing in chairs singing their hearts out. I'm like, Greg, we ain't even started the game yet, bro. Slow down. And I got a video of him upstairs painting and dancing at the same time. I'm saying to myself.
And guess where I would have been? Upstairs.
Yeah.
He would have had me upstairs.
Exactly.
I got to be in the mix. Like, I love to dance. Like, he knows that if I'm in that environment, I'm dancing.
Okay.
And he ain't even going to be able to enjoy himself because Baruti is possessive. He is not going to be able to handle it. So
you don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, you don't have to talk to him. It wouldn't happen. But also, you know, he says, I'm like, bougie ratchet. Like, I want to be ratchet behind closed doors, but I don't want to let nobody see me. You got to remember, I'm almost 60.
What that mean?
So
we had a lady celebrate her 70th birthday in Carolina one time at Ratchet Bingo.
At Ratchet Bingo?
Yeah.
My mama would die.
At this point now what happens, they bring the whole family. You'll walk up on the table and it'll be the daughters, the niece, the cousin, the mom, and the auntie all at the same table.
She might like it. She might enjoy it. But yeah I mean, I think it's I probably would enjoy it. but I have to, like, people read me as being intense. I'm not as intense as people read me, but I can be a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite dish to prepare?
What do I like? Greens. I like collard greens. I'm like a big collard green fan.
Okay.
I'll make greens every day if I can. That's
Okay.
probably the most favorite thing for me to cook. But what I probably cook more of is like lentils, like West African food, Indian food.
Okay.
Like I really love. I'm a big Indian food fanatic, so I make Indian food quite a bit.
Okay. Closing out. How can people connect more with the Arts Council?
Call us. Give us a call. Find out what we're doing. Join the Arts Council. If you are an artist or a creative, when I say artist, I don't want people to think about only visual artists. If you are a creative, there's a membership for creatives that's only $35 a year. That's less than that's about $3 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are a person that just wants to support the arts, but you also want to be a part of what we're doing, $65 a year. But memberships go all the way from $35 a year to $500 a year, depending on what kind of benefits you want. But connect with us. And another way you can support is just by coming to our events.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't necessarily want to be a member, but you want to participate in what we have going on, that's how you support artists in the community, is by coming to our events.
Okay. Anything you want to leave the people with?
No, y'all stay light.
Stay
positive. Be kind.
I like that. You got your wholesome hat on right now.
I mean, I'm wholesome though.
Yeah,
I'm
you wholesome.
I like for people to be kind.
I didn't know the ratchet side.
There is another side. There is another side.
Yeah.
I don't, for me, I love for people to be kind and intentional and positive. But I do have that button. I do have that other side. I will drag a person. I haven't in years, but I can go there. So don't try me. No.
Lord have mercy. I thank you for joining me, man. I appreciate you. This is another episode of Dinner with a Dealer podcast, and we're out.